Hello! So by the time you've seen this video, it's no longer B1 Board Games. The channel is now my name. So it's Tim Chuon. So I figured that even though it'll still mostly be board games, don't worry, I still want to include like photography tips and a bunch of other cool things. And honestly, it's just going to be whatever I'm interested in because I love doing this and it's one of my favorite hobbies of all time. So I feel like it wouldn't be restricted to just board games, even though most of it will be. So don't worry, for both sides of the table, you'll still see the same content, but hopefully it's better. And yeah, I'm excited. So if you're new here, I hope you like the content that I've been putting out so far. And if you want to help me out, there are multiple ways that you can do so. And if you've been around since the very beginning of B1 Board Games about a year ago, welcome back. Thank you for joining me this whole entire journey of me figuring out what B1 Board Games is and what it is changing to as we move on to the future. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up for all the new content that I have in mind and what all the future stuff I'm going to be putting out. So thank you to everyone for supporting me for this long. It's going to be fun. New name, new pictures, new video, new table for that matter. Everything's changing. Everything's changing, but not changing. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's get started with the tutorial. Okay, so here's what you need in front of you. Player board, Elixir chessboard, resource board, and 4 player markers. You're going to pick matching colors for all of these components, and then you're also going to take 6 special action tokens, 1 of each kind, 24 ingredient markers times 6 of each color, and also 18 decoction markers, 3 of each color. And then you're going to place the player board and these special action markers right in front of you, and then put the 4 player markers on the first spaces of the skill tracks on your player board. The Elixir chessboard is going to go to the right, resource board goes on the left with the decoctions on the upper space, and the ingredients of course will match in their colored spaces on the bottom. And then you want to shuffle the Elixir cards and draw 34 of them for a 2-player game, 46 for a 3-player game, or 58 for a 4-player game. So today we're going to set up for a 2-player game by shuffling 34 of these Elixir cards and then putting them right in the center. First player goes to the oldest alchemist, aka the most experienced, and then it's going to go clockwise from there. So starting from the oldest player and continuing clockwise, each player is going to allocate 2 points on their skill tracks in order to improve their stats right away. Now you can add 2 points on one skill track, or you can split the points on 2 different tracks of your choice. You're going to go ahead and move the chosen markers on the respective skill tracks by 1 space to the right for each point, and therefore each player is going to start the game with different levels of skills. Now how do you play the Valley of Alchemists? So on your turn you have a possible 2 actions that you can perform out of a total of 5 actions. Let's go over them one by one. Now you can perform these actions in any order, and you can also perform the same action twice. So the first one is to collect ingredients. All you do here is take 2 different colored ingredients from the resource board. However, you can also start taking more of a given color by increasing the stats that you just allocated. So with this board I can choose to take yellow and blue. However, I can only get 1 yellow ingredient, but I can also take 2 blue ingredients since the skill track for blue is in the 2 slot. So I have my ingredients, but now what do I do with them? Well, the second action is to exchange those stored ingredients in order to brew the decoctions, which will be action number 2. So on your player board, you'll see a list of 6 different decoctions and what you need to brew each one. All you need to do is take the ingredients for a listed decoction and then exchange it. You can brew as many decoctions as you want in a single action as long as you have enough ingredients to do so. So all these mini decoctions require you to have water in order to make them, but the 3 primary colors only need their color obviously, so yellows make the yellow decoction and reds make the red decoction and blues will make the blue decoction. But you're going to need different mixes of primary colors in order to make the secondary colors. So let's say if I want to make a green decoction, I'll have to discard 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 water, and then take a green decoction in order to put that on my player board. You can never have more than 3 decoctions of the same color on your player board. Now this leads to action number 3, which is making the elixirs. So you gather ingredients, you made decoctions with those ingredients. Now you can replace the decoctions for elixirs that are worth experience points. Again, you can make as many elixirs as you'd like so long as you have enough decoctions and it's one of the elixirs that are displayed face up right in the middle. So trade in the corresponding decoctions, then take the elixir card and put it in the elixir chessboard, but you want to align the elixir in a specific way. I'll talk more about that in a second. Now these are going to crank up your stats, and then you'll also get the experience points listed on the top right of the card. Number 4 is to sell a line of elixirs. Now you can sell these elixirs in one complete line, which could be horizontal, it could be vertical, or it could be diagonal. Now here's where I mentioned that it matters where you put the elixir because you get bonuses or bonus points basically for elixirs that are the same color, the same shape, and the same level. Let's talk about numbers. If all elixirs have the same level, which is shown on the bottom right with the number of decoctions, then you get 3 bonus points. If they're all the same color, you get 4 bonus points, and if they're all the same shape, you get 5 bonus points. So if you have an elixir that has 2 different colors, and each color is going to form a line, then you score points for both colors. And multicolored elixirs are wildcards, so if you put 3 wildcards on the same row, you're going to get 5 points for the same shape, 3 points for the same level, and 24 points for the same 6 colored lines. And the last action, number 5, is to rearrange your elixirs, which means you can move any one elixir to any empty space or swap elixir positions. You also have these 6 special action markers, one of each type. Now these don't count towards your regular action limits, and you can also use more than one special action per turn, but no more than 1 per elixir. Now once you do use them though, they are discarded to the box. Now the symbols are pretty straightforward, so this one means change of shape, which means you name the shape of the change elixir when you're selling a line. Now the same concept also goes for the change of color and the change of level special tokens. The decoction transformation lets you change any number of decoctions of one color to the same number of another color. So I can change 3 blues to 3 reds. Rearranging the elixirs lets you swap places between 2 elixirs. And the last one is the event protection token, where it's going to protect the user, except for that one event card where it shuffles all elixir cards on the board into the deck and then draws 10 new cards, so this effect would be completely stopped by one player. And lastly, before endgame, you have event cards. Now these are optional, but if you do want to play with them, you shuffle the event cards by using the formula number of players times 3, and shuffle these cards into the elixir deck after dealing the 10 elixir cards in the setup. So when you refill the elixir cards on the table and draw an event, perform its effect listed on page 12 and 13 on the manual, there's a bunch of them, and then discard it and then draw the next card until you only have elixir cards on the table. Now endgame is triggered when the elixir deck is empty, and then everyone's going to finish up their turn, so everyone's pretty much finishing at the same time. Now after that, just add up all the experience points on the sold elixir cards, the experience point markers, elixir cards that are on the chessboard, and for each pair of unused decoctions on your player board, those are worth 1 bonus experience point. Most points is declared the winner, and of course the Alchemist of the Year. If there's a tie, the player who made the most elixir wins. If there is a double tie, check the number of decoctions, and then the number of ingredients in order to decide who wins. If there is a quadruple tie, which I highly doubt would ever happen, but if there was, you would have to share your victory. We all know how we feel about sharing victories. So that is the Valley of Alchemists. If you're still here, thanks for spending some quality time with me midweek here in the first video under Tim Chuon. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will see you later.